Okay. Hi, guys. Welcome. We are Group 1. Evan, Isha, Xiao, and I'm Sebastian. Our mentor, Parnak, can't be here, but today we've been tasked to show you the Home Depot DIY app and how it improves the overall experience of its customers. So first off, what's the problem? Why are we here? So we were given the task by Iterate to enhance the overall experience of the Home Depot DIY. So their app is, or their, excuse me, they have no app and it's all done on web or mobile web. And although they are number 2 in home and garden throughout the world, their process could use a little cleanup. The process on their website was quite difficult for users to flow through, caused a lot of confusion with us when we were brainstorming, as well as when we interviewed some users. So from here, we decided to take this web and turn it into a mobile platform. And from the problems that we found through user research were, first and foremost, was navigation. People had a hard time navigating through the application or through the website. There was just a general lack of information that people wanted to see. There was enough information, but not what people would expect to see. And so that's okay. You can go to the next one. And from there, we went to see our who are we competing against. So we looked at new DIY specialists in the spruce, as well as looking to Lowe's, who is above Home Depot in the #1 spot, as well as IKEA and Walmart, because they're offering similar situations with DIY projects, but not in generally home improvement. Okay, next. From there, we decided to take our personas and.
Sorry.
There we go. Am I unmuted again?
Yeah, I'm muted.
Okay, so we decided that our target audience should be somewhere between the 20-year-old college student and the 40-year-old parents that are owning their own homes. Go ahead.
So now that we had developed personas, we wanted to dive in a little deeper to understand what exactly the pain points were in the customer journey on the website. And we found the most frustrations were occurring in the compare and choose section, which is there wasn't enough information on the tools and materials and prices, and just understanding all of that information was what most people were struggling with. Next. So now that we understood what we were really designing for, we started ideating and we came up with different ideas that we could do to solve that problem, and we put together this affinity diagram here. Next. And then we tried to prioritize which features were more important for the MVP, and we decided on these 6 pages. And next. And then we put these into a just high-level user flow to understand how this app would function and the flow throughout to make it as seamless as possible.
So based on the UX research, we proceed to design the wireframes with the most basic content and visuals to map out the features and information architecture we had envisioned for the new app. This is meant to represent like the overall picture of the significant flow to kind of present the idea and get feedback. Here we have the project section. We thought of the saved projects, and then also the checkout process. And then we proceed to design the style guide for the app. Due to the constraints of the Home Depot brand standards guide, we were not able to play around with the branding as much as we wanted to. So we're still using the Home Depot palette and also their logo. We just added like the DIY wording to the logo to kind of make like a brand extension logo. And then for the typography, we're using Pop-ins, which is like a geometric sans serif, which is really readable for mobile devices. And then for the iconography and buttons, we decided to go with rounded buttons and icons because we thought they're more friendly and positive than sharp edges. And this is our high 5 prototype. Here we decided to have 4 buttons at the navigation panel. And then we also had a hamburger menu. And now Evan is gonna walk us through the testing.
All right.
You have 5 minutes left.
Usability testing. This is the most important part of any UX work, right? As we know it. So lucky for us, we know the store manager in Lakewood, Washington, and we are able to conduct usability testing on site during 2 days period of time. So what are we testing for? We have 3 tasks to do for the user. So number one, task for the new user. The new user want to build a fire pit in the patio, but doesn't know what to buy or how to build it. Second task is the returning user trying to find what's the safe project they already did when they're using the app before. The third task is a returning user again, but they want to see what was on their card before they sign off or before they turn off their device before. So first, the usable testing. We have a very great result. We did 31 user testing during period of 5 hours. And we got 100% result. 31 user can do sign up and sign in perfectly. 28 out of 31 user were able to locate the fire pit section where we are testing and understand how to complete a DIY projects and check out and also they're able to check out the items needed for DIY projects. So what went wrong? They have 3 things that went wrong miserably in our testing. 13 out of 31 users failed to locate the shopping cart icon quickly. The first thing that they do is they're trying to find the hamburger menu. Where's the shopping cart? Where's the shopping cart? But we don't have the access to it yet. We did provide the shopping cart on the bottom, but I think it's not obvious enough for them. Therefore, they cannot navigate it quickly enough. Mostly in here is because of old people. It's about 35 plus 35 plus years of age. And 27 out of 31 of them also failed to locate a safe project under the profile icon. As you can see, we put that there on the next to the shopping cart. That's where the shopping cart, the safe project going to be, but we failed to do so. They keep again looking at the hamburger menu. So that's our problem. And 15 out of 31 users asked us, is that it? Is that all the project that you did? Is that all the provided in the app? So we have some lack of the information, or we have lack of the, how can we show that we have more than this? So we did some changes here. Did some changes, especially on the homepage. We put a see more button there, so they can see, they can navigate it quickly. Hey, you can see more if you want to. And we put the grid from 2x1 to 2x2. And we put the search button on the top. The reason by it is because we noticed that people, when they try to search something, they always look at on the top as what they get used to it. And we put improvement in the hamburger menu. We put the shopping cart and save project there, so they can navigate it easily. The second testing, can you go back? Can you go back first? So the second day of testing, we did 79 user testing in duration of 13 hours. And 75 to 79 users were able to do all the tasks that we asked for. And because of constraint of time, I think this is the best way to improve our product as we know it right now. This is the final prototype, as you can see.
You have 1 minute left.
Go next. Joe, can you go next? All right, what we learned. We learned some of us doesn't have a lot of experience how to work with the team, except me. And they work together, that's what they learn. And then they learn what the importance of UX research is. And for myself, I think I learned about usability testing can be so expensive in the United States. So, except for my country is so cheap, it's basically zero. What comes next? We are if we have ability, we want to update the iconography, we want to improve the branding a little bit more, and maybe we can add more other video tutorials so they can navigate it much more easily and flawlessly. That's all. Thank you.
Perfect.
Perfect.
Good
Wow.
one.
Okay, so
Amazing.
you are going to,
Congratulations.
yeah, that's great. So you are going to be the Home Depot branding. That's
Yeah.
good, right?
Yeah,
I
it
think
was tough to work under branding, like
Yeah.
established branding,
Yeah.
because we all want to
Sebastian
make our
doesn't
own
want to see
products.
orange anymore.
I never want to see the color orange again.
Okay, questions.
Yeah, fire away.
There's a question there. in the
I have a
chat.
question.
An hernia.
Thank you. That was great, you guys. Really slick UI. I love it. My question is, how was your team able to test so many users in such a short time frame?
That was because we have blessed with the store owner manager, and we asked them, hey, can we please do the testing here in the duration of time? Whenever that you want, you open the door at 5 o'clock, I'll be there. And we did the testing there at 5 o'clock started until like 7 o'clock. Then store manager was really kind to me. They say, okay, I know this testing will not come cheap. People will not do it without any reward. So they give it to me a reward card of $5 Home Depot to give it
Wow.
away whenever they do the testing. So that's why
Amazing.
we got so many
Nice.
You
users.
got very lucky. Very lucky.
Wicked.
Very
That's why
resourceful.
Oh my
Nice.
gosh. Where are you located?
Washington State.
Oh
Washington
my gosh,
State
it's
right
so
now.
far away.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
I
Awesome,
wanted
guys.
to work with you guys.
Road trip.
Guerrilla testing.
I think we were all shocked. Like we expected 5, 10 users, maybe
Yeah.
like because we split into UX, like 2 of us went UX focused and 2 of us went UI, that we were like, all right, 10 is plenty. And then Evan goes, oh, I found 31. Like, what?
What?
How is that possible, right? No,
Yeah, so-
actually, it is 10 to 15. It's okay for UX usability testing, but 70 is a huge number. This is so much work. And can you ask me how you plan the test? How was your plan test? Your test plan?
So my test plan is actually I'm following the guide of fast work where I'm working right now for. So we have a scenario, right? We give them specific tasks to do, and then we watch them. I get help by Patrick Chandana there to take a note and stuff like that. And yeah, shout out to her. Thank you so much. And
Bring
we
her.
got-
Bring her. Yeah.
there.
Bring her.
Yeah.
She's part of the team. Yeah. Thank you.
So she helped me a lot for that, and then yeah, that's how we do the test. We have a template actually. How do we do the test, and we're not able to show it just because that the time constraint or presentation. But yeah, if you have any question about how to do the test in fastword, just let me know. I'll give it to you the test plan.
You can upload. That could be really interesting for Discord to upload. This is really good resource how to conduct the usability testing, how to organize the test plan.
For myself personally, I think usability test is the most fun of every single thing that I've done. Yeah.
It's good. It's cool.
And I'm very glad that you took the proper feedback and made the changes. That means you were listening to the users. So that's quite good.
It really made for some late nights for me and Joe.
Yeah. Sorry about that.
No, no, it's fine. He would get back and say, "Hey, we have these problems." I'm like, "Okay, here we go."
Yeah. I
like
come
real
back.
work.
I come back with a bunch of notes with demand. Hey, please change this, or else.
Yeah, he was a boss.
Malik, did you have a question?
So
Khalid?
yes, I have like two-part question. My first question was around so did you guys manage, or did you guys think about doing a trade testing upfront? Because from what I noticed, one of the issues that you guys got as feedback from the usability testing was actually more of navigation issues. So I was wondering, when you guys actually designed the information architecture or the whole interaction or the navigation patterns, did you guys get a chance to test it? And number two was like this is more of a suggestion / I would say question, like why a need to test 70 users? Like it is proven that if you go beyond 5 to 7, the results are going to be repetitive again and again. So the most ideal number would be like 5 to 7. It's just mainly because you don't have to spend more money and more time to analyze the results. So I was just wondering, would you think if you had maintained 5 to 7
Good
users
question.
for each task, or you would be able to spend more time in the iteration process?
Good question for that. So the reason why it's become so many is number one, because we make a deal. I make a deal with the Home Depot. Home Depot manager say, yeah, I will work for you for 2 days. Please give me this time, this amount of time. I ask for 2 hours. They say, nope, you cannot do only 2 hours. So you need to do from this to this. That's why instead of just doing nothing, just hand it up a gift card without doing anything. So we need to do the testing. We do the testing and we do the testing again. That is why we have that many users. We don't have to be that many users though, because in the 30 or 20 tests in the second day, we already passed it. We already have like 18 out of 20 or 18 out of 21 or 19 out of 21 usability testing success. But because of the time they're given to us and we don't want to disappoint to the manager, we have to keep going because we want to improve their branding too, because they help us a lot, you know.
You have
That's the
1
reason
minute
why.
left for the questions.
For the navigation side of things, I think it was just because I'm working full-time student, everybody else was working full-time, and it was just something that slipped.
Okay.
And we were able to quickly find it in that first round of testing, and then we're like, oh, obviously, and kind of just updated it from there. I think it just was something simple that slipped through.
Fair enough. Sounds fair. I mean, it's a two-week project, so I can understand.
Yeah.
One last quick question: is it an extension of current Home Depot digital ecosystem, or it's a standalone solution?
I think it would be an extension as their DIY specific, rather than having something that's just a web, like a mobile web page. It would give people more access to an app that flows better and it works on a smaller screen rather than putting a web page down on a mobile screen.
Okay, cool.
Yeah,
Okay.
this was meant to be like a club, like a DIY club app. So only people who are doing DIY projects are gonna be the ones using this app. And then the other experience of Home Depot, it's separate in like their website and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Fair enough. Thank you.
Great.
Okay, I think we
Thanks,
can.
guys.
Yeah, excellent job, guys.
Very good.
I'm really happy
Amazing.
with the outcome. Yeah, amazing. Thank you for the commitment. Yeah. Guys, group 6, go ahead. Whitmire, Ben, Courtney, Gail. Oh,
Oh, nice.
that's good.
Okay, time starts now.
Awesome. So, hi everyone, thanks for being here today. I'm going to introduce the team of Group 6. Next screen, awesome. So I'm Courtney. I also worked with a team with Ben, Sato, and Whitmire on this project, and we're a mix of UX and UI people, and we worked really closely with each other on this project. So for the agenda tonight, we're going to be going over our objective or our challenge, dive into the research that we did for it, talk about our design process from wireframing to prototyping, and then end it off with a conclusion about what we learned and next steps moving forward. So for our challenge that we were given to our group was to design an onboarding app or web tour for an interactive science museum. When our group met, we were trying to discuss about what we wanted to do because it was really open-ended for us. And I'm based in Vancouver in Canada. And at that time, the Vancouver Aquarium had just announced that it was shutting its doors due to COVID. So we decided to take that on as our challenge. So what we ended up doing for our objective is to bring a sense of awareness of to bring a sense of wonder and excitement to users by creating a virtual experience for people who can't visit the Vancouver Aquarium. And it's on to Ben.
Hi. So for our design methodology, we employed a research survey. We did a value proposition map. We created personas. We put together some low fidelity wireframes, which then led to our high fidelity prototype. Next slide. Our user insights that we were able to get from the research mostly consisted of their pain points being crowds at the aquarium that you can't see past or see over or see through or even move through, the price of going to the aquarium itself, as well as the distance it takes to get from your house to the aquarium. Those are all pain points of our users. Their gains were more things like they miss the sense of wonder they get just being underwater in a building with surrounded by all these awesome fish, and the quality family time they get to spend there, and the education aspect of going to the aquarium. So these are all pains and gains of our users that we were able to tool our product to bring a value to that. Next slide. These are our personas. We made the younger one for the younger side of our survey participants. They were mostly just let me see animals. That was their biggest gain. Like, I want to see animals right now all the time. Their biggest pain was not being able to see the animals, which was usually crowds, being too small to see over people, and as well as not even be able to go to the aquarium right now. The other persona we made for the slightly older age group that was taking our survey, they were more of the social aspect. They like to hang out at the aquarium with their friends, their family. They also enjoyed seeing the animals, because who doesn't? And their pain points were also crowds, the distance it takes, feeling of being rushed through the aquarium, not being able to like hang out and spend time and chill in the nice atmosphere. So these two personas were really our anchor points moving forward with our product to just satisfy their pains, their gains, and really just tool the product for them. And that's going to be Sado.
In our low fidelity wireframes, it was important to capture the experience of interaction with the world of fish. As you see here, we have a lovely illustrated fish in the center of a frame, sketched by Courtney. We've picked some essential screens to showcase here. It starts off with the onboarding screen. We're moving into the next screen where we have more detailed information about fish, and finally transitioning into the last screen that offers the experience of live feed. Next slide, please. So here we have our style guide presented with essential design elements and interaction components documented. The list of crucial UI components here consists of color palette, typography, icons, logo, buttons, and some of illustrations. Next slide, please. After wireframing and finalizing the style guide, we prototyped the experience. We focused on high quality photos to resemble what the users would see in the aquarium, and the goal was to bring them to a state of wonder. Here's a quick view of how you start off from the entry tutorial, move into the screen with an educational card, and further be able to view the live cams at the Vancouver Aquarium. And I'll pass it on to Whitmire. You have 5 minutes left.
Okay, so just to save on time, we aren't going to go through the entire prototype. So if you want to take this time to scan that QR code, you guys can play with it afterwards. Feel free to do so. I see a couple of phones coming up, so I'll give you like 10 seconds. And then we can also put the link in the chat as well. But one thing that you will notice as you go through the prototype is that it's quite limited. So it's very linear, and what I mean by linear is it takes you through the onboarding. You can click on one of the sea creatures, and then it just goes into details for that sea creature. Now, one thing that we really wanted to show, but we were quite limited on time, plus we didn't really know how to show it, was to implement a directory of different gestures. So imagine the purposes of all these different gestures doing these different things in the sea. So out of your normalized and typical swiping or pinching, you can have your entire hand interact with the or with the sea animals and have more of a feedback, tactile feedback from it. So that's something that we really wanted to implement to get that sense of curiosity and wonderment rather than just wandering in the sea, maybe an opportunity for you to teleport into another section of the world since the sea is quite vast. So this moves on to our next steps. one thing we would start off by doing, as I mentioned before, is getting a directory of assigning all these different gestures and what they would potentially do. Maybe teleporting, interaction with the animals, getting an opportunity to really swim in the water, and then doing a user flow for each of these different gestures. Then afterwards, we would build a more robust prototype with better animation. As Sato had mentioned in the beginning, she had mentioned we really focus on high quality photography. So in this case, it would be more high quality VR, but on the tablet. And then moving forward, we didn't have the opportunity to do user research testing, and that's something that we would definitely be really interested in doing, because you don't see these like long list of different gestures. And granted, that can definitely be very very overwhelming, but one thing that we wanted to do or want to consider is, like, I have a 5-year-old nephew and all he does is just play around with a tablet, not really knowing what to do. So being able to stumble upon new discoveries as you're exploring the app were things that we wanted people to feel. And the last thing is responsiveness. We solely focus on the tablet, but we would be open to having the experience designed on web as well as mobile. You're on mute.
Courtney, I think you're mute. And you have 2 minutes.
All right, so for lessons learned on this project, a lot of us, this is our first time working together and on a big team from very different areas. So we learned a lot as a team from each other, and a lot of us just learned how to use Figma, which was awesome. We also recognized that the only research we really did do was doing surveys, and through the process that we went through, we recognized that we should have actually done one-on-one interviews first to better help us figure out what our survey should have been laid out to be like. And 2 weeks is a short amount of time, so it went by really quickly. And the last thing we learned is what a toque was. I was the only Canadian on the team, so I got to teach everyone else what a toque was. It's a beanie for any Americans. So just wanted, so this is a wrap up for our project. Just wanted to give a huge shout out to IterateUX for putting this on. It's really awesome. And also a shout out to our mentor, Anshuk. He was really helped us guide us through this project, so we were really excited to have him. And yeah, check out our prototype. It's really awesome. We're excited where it got to. Thanks, guys.
Yay!
Bravo.
Oh, nice.
Good job.
Wow.
Oh, wow, it's beautiful. Oh, nice.
Pretty cool.
Wow, it's a beautiful interaction. It's very pleasant. It's like actually being in the ocean, like very soft of the movements and beautiful.
Yeah, so this is actually a screenshot of the actual jelly cam and the Vancouver, but I don't know if it's jelly cam.
Mm-hmm.
Oh no, it's down. Okay, well, just imagine a bunch of jellies.
Anyway.
Very
Yeah,
well
but
done, guys. Beautiful.
Ta-da!
That's amazing. It was amazing.
Okay,
It was really good.
Questions?
Maybe it's down too.
Questions? Any
Yes.
questions?
Questions. So
Let's
what?
start with the questions.
Let's see if I can stop sharing. Okay. What would you like to improve in the next step, in the next time for this platform? I don't know if someone is talking or not. Right? Someone is talking?
Your question was, what would we want to improve?
Yeah, what you would like to improve next time?
Personally, I would like to improve just not necessarily the product itself, but the research phase of our design crawl. We didn't have a lot of responses to our survey, and I thought, it was a time crunch with 2 weeks, but I really felt that if maybe we leaned a little further into research, we might have a little bit more data to work off of.
What kind of things did you learn from your little research, at least from the surveys?
What did we learn from the surveys?
Mm-hmm.
We learned that people were missing, we had what is the biggest aspect of the aquarium that you miss as you're quarantined at home or as the aquarium is closed. And most of the responses were simply just fish. They really wanted to just see fish. We had a couple of good answers that I really wanted to isolate and pick out, even though they weren't quantitative, it was one answer here or there, but it was quality family time or that sense of wonder you get. And they were kind of these more interesting, emotional answers that we really appreciated. So we really wanted to lean into those as well as, provide fish to look at, which would meet the greater need.
Okay, so you learned that the emotional part of the aquarium is important too.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Emotional
I appreciated that.
Nice.
Yes, and apply or to see a new technology for the museum or the aquarium is really cool. So you can feel the experience through that tablet. That's good. That's good for people that are not located in the place. So congratulations, guys. Anyone has another question for them?
Yeah, I have a question. Do you consider? I want to go back to your the gestures, the hand gestures. What made you guys decide on the specific, I guess 10, I think you had about 10 gestures. What made you decide on those specific gestures?
So I just picked a set of icons, SVG, from online. So it wasn't specific that I picked those gestures. It was just a, in terms of the presentation, I picked ones that weren't very common. So 3-finger swipe, there's one that you hold one finger and then you rotate another, and I was thinking of teleporting for that one. So it wouldn't be specific to the ones that you saw in the presentation. It was just more of giving a sense that you had more options than what we're typically used to on an app or on a tablet. Because originally one of the ideas that we had thrown out was to make things really chaotic. I have a thing about weird websites where you find Easter eggs on these websites, or you can click on things and move things around. So that's kind of where we were going with the app, just to give you more options.
So kind of like doing, I guess, discovering things accidentally to kind of add that surprise element.
Right. We wouldn't, in our onboarding, we wouldn't tell you what all the gestures are. We would have a directory for it, in our menu, but that wouldn't be something that we would tell you up front. We would just want you to explore it organically. And this is where the user research would come in. And the other idea is every single time you go back into the app, you're not in the same place again. You would be in a different section. You're not going to see the same animals move past you. So just how we don't know a lot of the sea, it would be the same sense in the app as well, or in the tablet.
Oh, that's cool. Great job, guys.
Yeah.
Congratulations, guys. I really like your job.
You have to
congratulations.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, too much work. Yeah, thank you, guys.
Yeah, we really focused on our mentor Anshuk. He really pushed us to think why do people like to go to the aquarium aside just seeing the fish? What is it about being in that space? And so it made us really think about emotion and about things that are outside of what we normally think of. And I think that's what made the survey so difficult too, because you asking a child the things that you would something very specific on how they feel about certain things, they're just I don't know, I like sharks. So it really put us in a position to make a lot of assumptions, but I don't necessarily think it was bad for us to make assumptions. It just really made us think some that was outside of, you know, just the how can people see fish? Because people can watch like National Geographic videos, YouTube. What was something else that we were going to add to it? And that element of accidental exploration of like a different gesture or an interaction with something that was in the app were components that we wanted to add to it.
It would be great to
That could
do
be-
some user interviews, because then you can see the reaction of the people, and when you ask the question, you can see how
Right.
the answer there.
Imagine your application in a VR.
And even not
Right.
VR, maybe just augmented reality, just not with the
Augmented
headset,
reality.
and maybe add to your app some sounds. So if you put the headphones, you can hear the ocean or the water running. It's a beautiful. Yeah.
We
wanted
were
to-
thinking it to be multimedia as well. So like in this case, in our prototype, it led you to the live cam feed, but every single time you click on the animal, like those things aren't going to be available either. So what are other things that you can stumble upon? So it wouldn't, this app would not be consistent at all whatsoever. It would be randomized. Now, how do you program that? I have no idea, but that's the gist of it.
I have
Guys, amazing. We have to run for another. We
Okay.
have to run for another. Sorry about that. Maybe you can write the question here, or
No, it's not a question. It was more of a suggestion towards just when it comes to talking with children, you can identify what they like through their parents, interviewing their parents with them, like user testing with them. So I was just going to say something along that line. So.
So I think most of the parents actually filled out the surveys, and it was even that it was pretty difficult as well. But thank you.
Thank you.
Beautiful job.
Congrats. Congrats. Guys, the another group 7 or group 6. No, wait, 7.
Wait, 7.
Right?
Yes, that's us.
Yes,
Group
that's us.
7.
Woo.
You are.
All right.
So go ahead. Who is going to present here?
I'll be presenting. So I'll be like clicking through the screens. So let me get that set up.
Yeah.
I had it set up. I promise you guys, I had it set up. Right
I
here.
know.
It's Friday.
All
It's
right.
Friday.
Yeah, relax. Today, tomorrow, we cannot work. So
Gotcha.
We shouldn't work.
Share my screen.
Can you?
Yeah, it's I guess it's like thinking or something.
Yeah, it's coming.
All right.
Thinking.
Joe, can you run the timer for us?
Okay.
No, I think Liz will be running the timer.
Oh, Liz is running the timer.
Yes.
Okay.
You're on the last one.
Oh, I'm on the last one. Of course. Of course, I'm on the last one. Yeah.
You can stop sharing. You can stop sharing. Accommodate that. Yeah, there we go.
Okay. Sorry, guys.
Don't show me this.
We start
From
from
the end to the beginning.
I had
Go
it
backwards.
like right at the beginning.
Yeah, don't do the back. How is it? Benjamin
backwards.
Button.
Yeah.
The Benjamin
Oh, the
Button
Benjamin
story.
Button.
Yeah.
It's the Benjamin Button approach.
Yeah. No, guys. I know this is our senior, but not that senior. Weird. Okay.
Can you guys see it now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
That's cool.
Okay,
Thank you.
starting
We
now.
are IterateUX Group 7. Our project challenge is create a card game for seniors. And let's see here. Joe, to you.
We need to have a thorough understanding of the user by challenging our existing assumption, and that's the script. But yes, I forgot to introduce myself. I'm Joe, and my teammates are Audrey and Anna, as We are 3, and Daniel was our mentor. So as I was saying, we need to have a thorough understanding of the users by challenging our existing assumption and redefining the problem by innovating new solutions. Next slide, please.
Thank you.
Going through loops of understanding by iteration, creating, and learning. After analyzing, we ask ourselves, what's next in design thinking? We came up with an iterative process to tackle a set of problems within our challenge. Next slide.
So assumptive research, these were the 4 categories we addressed in building our how might we statement. That was mental cognitive functions, self-sufficiency, app features, and having fun. And we also approached our how might we to build and support for functions, which is mental cognitive, self-sufficiency, app features, and having fun. We identified and narrowed down our how might we by clarifying it with a statement, asking ourselves, does our statement possess the following? What is our user's need? What is the need? And did we offer insight? By enhancing our problem-solving skills, we set out to make the process interactive and expansive.
Okay. Hi guys, my name is Audrey again. So empathy was our secret weapon where we needed to dig deeper to understand our user as a person. So we used design thinking where we used to revolve it around what works best for her as a cool grandma. We tried to understand her pain points and motivation from a user-centered perspective where we were able to uncover the cores of her wants and the needs as a real person. Next slide, please. Okay, so by putting ourselves in their shoes, we consider what will our mobile experiences offer users. So these are what the 3 choices that we came up with. Number 1, look is how can we make it trustworthy? Number 2, usability by addressing its accessibility. And lastly, feel, offering our users joy of use experience.
Awesome.
Okay, the second part of our process is going through loops of understanding by iteration, creating, and learning. After analyzing, we ask ourselves, what's next in design thinking? We came up with an iterative process to tackle a set of problems within our challenge.
So through our value proposition exercise, we addressed 2 parts, each with 3 sections. We came up with an iterative process to tackle a set of problems within our challenge. On the right, you'll see the customer profile, addressing pains, gains, and customer jobs. On the left is the value map, addressing gain creators, pain relievers, and products and services. Using the 7 focus areas as a guide in our comparative analysis summary, we identified what functionalities worked in comparison to similar game apps. We analyzed the percentage in each of those focus areas using data analysis techniques, then use that as a guide to help us through the UI development of our app.
Okay, so after that, we try to, I'm sorry, I missed the, this, no, don't worry.
Oh, it's literally skipping. Go ahead.
Okay, so after that, we try to make the architecture of the app intuitive and easy to understand for our user based on the choices that they need to make to get to the end of the user flow, right? Mm-hmm. So I think it's Audrey.
Oh yeah.
Audrey? Yeah.
Going into our first prototype exercise, we framed out 6 areas we wanted to focus on, while keeping in mind the standards for web accessibility requirements as well. And the next one is our UI kit.
5 minutes left.
Okay. Thank you. In this UI kit, we had a high contrast color palette, bigger buttons, and the two typefaces that we use are Luckiest Guide and Rubik's Regular. And on the right-hand side, you can see those are the logos that we use for our application.
Okay.
And then, yes.
Audrey?
And then this this is our user testing and feedback. So we tested with 5 users. The problems that we got from these users are saying, what does the go back button means and where does it bring us? Therefore, the feedback that they gave us was to replace the go back buttons with the restart button. Therefore, afterwards, we changed the, we replaced the go back buttons with the replay so we could replay the same game from the other side. And the next song is to continue to the next card.
Okay, ready for our app walkthrough. Mempop. Come on, Figma. We had a lot of fun going through this. So this is the introduction screen, Mempop, play the game. I want to go through as a single player. I want to pick a decade, 1980s. Choose your mode. I'm gonna try music mode. And which song was performed by this artist? I guess I'm able to play and listen to all these songs and pick this song, so maybe it's the second one. And it looks like that's correct. So let me go to next artist. I've won 50 points. I'm gonna check my high score. All right.
Go to the lobby and start over.
All right, let me start over. Let me try a challenge. Oh, I want to challenge some of my friends. Okay, let me get my girl over here. Versus friend number 2. 80s was a good year for us.
Picture mode.
Picture mode. Ooh, Tina Turner. Okay. Oh, that's wrong for that. I'm gonna try again. All right, let's go. Okay, he's the right guy, my eye patch guy. Did you know this singer is not actually a pirate? All right, let's go to the lobby.
Go to the profile.
Okay, go lobby, go to profile, go to my profile. Cool, there I am, the cool grandma. So go back. And let's do
you have to win. You go to the end.
Oh yeah, so single player, 1980s. All right, that's correct. Go to the next artist. I've won. Check the high score, and I'm finished. Thank you guys.
Okay, close it.
You have 2 minutes.
Yeah.
Oh, that's the end. How do I get out of here though? I feel 65.
Cool grandma. I like that. I like the profile. Amazing.
65 and over today on this Figma. Hold on, let me get out of here, you guys. Let's see. All right. So we have one last screen. Sorry, we had one last screen that talked about what we learned. And
can you share your screen again?
Yeah, our next steps and what we learned. Hold on one second. If I can share my screen, is that what you said? There it is. Okay. Can you guys see it?
Yeah.
Okay. So next steps and what we learned. So we basically, to summarize, there were no shortcuts. This was a gaming app. It was fun. We had fun along the way, but there were like hills and valleys going through this process, keeping, trying to put ourselves in the shoes of people 65 and up. And accessibility became a huge thing that we had to keep at every turn. We had to consider accessibility and putting ourselves in the shoes of others who may have low vision problems.
Yeah, like a high contrast color palette, for example, or the bigger buttons.
Yeah. And so we had literally every single thing. So it was what I feel like what I learned from it was to not underestimate a challenge that may seem easy or fun. There's no shortcuts in being iterative or expansive. So, we really, when we go to our mural board, I'm really proud of my team because we really dug in and uncovered layers that, we were just really, they were nice surprises to go through a process with Audrey and Joe on the discovery and application of UX and UI.
Yes, the research was a major part of the direction that we took on the app, because, for instance, we try to take like a musical edge on it, because we found that music is related to improve the mental cognitive capacity, to exercise the memory of the senior users, right? So helps them to improve their mental health. So it was like that direction. We couldn't find that direction if we didn't do the research, right? So the last time I did a challenge, we didn't do much research. So for me, it was like a bigger contrast. The biggest contrast I have, it was this, right? So it was good. I learned a lot.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. You finished here?
More questions?
You stop sharing, right?
Okay, I can stop sharing. Okay.
Great! Congrats! It was really funny. Actually, the bottoms are huge. This is for senior.
Yes,
no
really
discussion,
huge.
right? No discussion. It's for senior.
I want to start with a question. What was the purpose in your user research? What did you want to know? What were your assumptions? What did you discover?
Okay. Audrey, did you want to answer what our assumptions were?
Yeah, we did. So basically, when we first started the project, we all talked about the research that we should do. Basically, like figuring out what does the word senior really means, and we wanted to figure out like what kind of like pain points that we can help seniors out with. So, for example, like the eyesight, or like like fingers tapping on their phone because sometimes their hands are shaking a little bit. So we wanted to figure out like ways where we can make the application more fun for them, in a way where it can also help them with the cognitive function, like memory, and just to like help them like strengthen the memory as they are playing the games, and also like be able to socialize with their friends when they cannot go outside. And like with like the buttons, we make sure that they can actually see the buttons easily and play the game with easy access to all the buttons and the words, because I tested this with my friends who also had who uses really big text on their phones. So I was just like, maybe I can like let them test it out and see how they see. And they told me that like, yeah, the buttons are great, the buttons are big enough for them to see and press on, and the text were big enough. So those are the things that we really needed to consider about like their age and like the accessibility. So that's why we focus on those a lot during the application.
Okay, and I want to add to that question, because it's we could have easily gotten lost if we didn't start with assumptions on this particular challenge. We could have easily just been completely missed the mark. And so in our mural board, I'm having a struggle getting to it, but we have an assumptive research summary that we compiled. I don't know if any of you guys can see this, or why I can't see it. I'm not sure why, but I don't know if Joe, you can go into the mural board and pull the.
But is what any surprising thing you discover?
Well, surprisingly,
I don't know if surprise is the word, but we actually found that that music was a great part of staying healthy as you go older. So it's like music is really attached to the human being, And when you get older, it's probably one of the few things that you can remember when when you have dementia or Alzheimer, for example. So to stay healthy and to socialize, those are the two keys component that we want to tackle in our game, right? So we have that multiplayer game and we make it like music related, right?
Yeah, I was surprised to learn
I
that.
think we need to change. Sorry, but interrupted. We need to change
Yes.
for the groups. For the last group, we are
All
run
right.
out of time.
Okay.
Okay.
Thanks.
Sorry for
yeah.
that. Sorry,
Thank you
sorry
very
for that.
much.
But we need to. Thank
Yeah,
you,
absolutely.
guys. Great, great, great.
Yay, last group.
So, last group. The courage one.
All right, let me
Who is the
Victoria.
courageous one? Yeah. Yay, Victoria and Trixie. Trixie is here,
Yay.
right?
Yeah,
Is Trixie here? Where is
she's
Trixie?
here. Yeah.
Oh, there. you
Okay, can you guys see the screen?
go. Okay.
You can see it?
Yeah, we can see.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay.
we can see. We can see.
Okay,
All
10
right.
minutes starting now.
Okay, so I'm Vic. Unfortunately, the rest of my team couldn't be here today, but I'm super excited to show everybody what we've been working on the past 2 weeks. Our challenge was to create a smart speaker and IoT. So here's our team. We took on a lot of different hats. Mostly I did research and design, Pia as well, and even Ryan and Jess, they both really did design and research. So I would say we were really a great collaborative team. So what is Synneko? Synneko is a combination of Greek words, Synneko meaning cloud. It allowed us to highlight the security and privacy focus, as well as our proprietary cloud, Synnect. And ikos and ekos is Greek for resonate, sound, and echo. The goal of Synneko as a smart speaker and IoT tech is to have a high level of security and privacy that is easy to access and understand. We wanted a more responsive voice assistant and a long-lasting, high-quality audiophile speaker system. Systems thinking allowed us to view the broader viewpoint and interactions of people, stakeholders, designers, and researchers, and how they interact with that product. Design thinking can have a limited scope of what it really considers. We wanted to think more about the business aspect and what the whole of Synneko could look like. As designers and researchers, we have to find that balance and learn how to be more fluid between people's needs and business needs. This 2-week challenge was just that, a challenge. In the first week, we lost a member, Trixie, but thankfully gained another. We created design sprints in a row to make sure we were on time and keeping the momentum. In the research phase, we studied IoT and smart speaker tech. IoT is a very complex and interesting subject. We also studied design methods, conducted interviews and surveys, and completed a competitive analysis. In the define phase, we defined personas from our interviews, and from our insights, we identified 3 core problems. During the ideation, we used thought leadership and brainstorming, as well as relied heavily on data and research to form solutions. We planned the brand identity, including naming, colors, and created the user flows. And after all the research and problem solving, we were finally able to iterate the wireframes and our prototype. During the research phase, we reached out to 5 people to ask about their experience using smart speakers in their home. We identified that the target audience is fairly broad, between 25 to 50 years old, but there are some smart speaker users that are older than 50 who seem to mainly use it as a timer or for getting quick information instead of a music speaker or as an IoT. From our personas, we really gained valuable insights that helped us define and solidify our core problems. During our competitive analysis, we surveyed the 4 big competitors on the market for smart speakers. We found that the problems with these also aligned with what people were saying in the interviews. We analyzed sound quality, security, and privacy features, as well as pricing, IoT, voice assistant, and overall usability and accessibility of the app and the function of the speaker. From deep research and interviews, we discerned 3 main problems: security and privacy, voice assistant, and speaker quality. Security and privacy is at the forefront of everyone's mind, especially when using a smart speaker.
With the voice assistant, that's another problem. Sometimes it doesn't quite understand what you're saying, even after you've repeated it 4 times. There's also the issue of it being too robotic and artificial. And especially now in the time of COVID, it's important for people stuck at home and potentially alone to have an outlet to talk to and maybe even hold conversations with. Voice commands consist of 3 key factors: the intent, utterance, and slot. And we wanted to make sure that we thought about how the voice assistant can intake those low utility tasks. The third problem is something we couldn't iterate, but we wanted to think about it. Sound quality and speaker quality. Of course, you can't iterate that on Figma, but we really wanted to think about the stakeholders we could potentially contact for that.
You have about 5 minutes left.
By creating our own proprietary cloud service, Synneko, people that currently use other cloud-based services can feel more secure in their choice and finally feel comfortable enough to connect their device to other smart products in their home, which allows the speaker to actually be utilized versus just as a timer and be utilized as an IoT. For the voice assistant, we really wanted to consider every variation of intent, utterance, and slot of a voice command. To create a more responsive and conversational voice assistant, we would utilize machine learning algorithms to ensure the assistant can keep up and adapt to situations, continue learning and understanding voice requests and conversations. As I said, the speaker quality, we couldn't iterate, but we did identify that we could partner with Klipsch, which creates audiophile grade speakers, which would improve the speaker quality problem. Our voice assistant has gone through many iterations of names, but we decided on Iris, which is the Intelligent Rad Interactive System. Iris is smart, attentive, conversational, responsive, and rad. We wanted Iris to be more adaptable and flexible in conversation. It was especially important for us to think about during COVID, when millions of people are at home and some without anyone to talk to. We also created a mock dialogue flow to better understand how people would and could interact with Iris to make sure that we create a voice assistant that understands variances in our speech. Our user flows were based on the research of other IoT and smart speaker apps. The consistency acts as a heuristic to make our app easy to navigate, and the flow ensures there is sufficient feedbacks on the user's actions as they go through the onboarding process. It was designed for people to perform tasks with minimal effort with assurance that they are accomplishing their goal. We chose our 3 palette colors based on color psychology, and also because we were designing in dark mode, we wanted to ensure our palette would be chosen with accessibility in mind. And our wireframes. And I will link this in the Figma for everyone as well. You can play with that. And Jas, he was a member of our team. He created these amazing 3D speaker prototypes. He wanted the speaker to be unique and personal from other speakers offered on the market. The base of the speaker could be plastic with an exclusive model that could be customized per the customer's choice. And there's also a wide variety of woods that could be used to make the base as well. And the prototype, I will play that. We wanted the onboarding to be the most important part because especially with security and privacy, we really wanted people to know that that's at the forefront of our mind. So you'll see that that is right away, comes right up, the security and privacy, like you see most times, but it's a little bit more streamlined so you don't have to read many, many pages like we all know. And this is where our dialogue flow really came in to help. We wanted Iris to be more like a human, more responsive in how we actually talk to each other and less robotic and just asking for commands and waiting for the next command. We wanted it to be more personable. In our terms and policies, we really want Synneko to be focused on security, privacy, and also have its own cloud storage that is called Synneko, so that customers and users can feel more secure that their privacy is actually secure and that they can have access to that data as well. We looked into the country of Estonia. They have an amazing government where it's all cloud-based, very tech-savvy. And so we really researched into how they have their government on the cloud as well. And we implemented some of that into our app, some of the design thinking of that. And that is it.
That's amazing.
Amazing
Pretty
job.
awesome.
Great job,
Pretty
Victoria.
awesome. Yeah,
Very
congratulations. Very, very cool. You rock it.
And
Once
thank you so much,
again.
Ed. She was such a great help throughout this as a mentor. She really helped guide us.
Perfect, Mess. You want to say something?
You carry your team.
Yeah, you carry your team. Yeah.
Question.
Where are you, Mess? Where are you?
I'm here. I'm actually outside right now.
Are you in a bus?
No. I'm
She's
in
partying.
subway right now.
She's partying. Don't ask.
Yeah. Okay. So the team overall, everyone had different expertise in different areas, but the way they work together, I really like it. So initially, so it's really difficult for people to work together as a team, and you have when you are completely from different fields, because Vic is from research, completely into research. Pia and Brian are completely in visuals. I'm really sorry for the background sounds. And Jazz is a complete 3D modeler, but then he is transitioning himself into UX and UI, which is great. So it's a mixture of different kinds of fields, but then together it worked really well as a team because everyone actually concentrated on their own specific areas. So overall, I'm really proud of you guys. The way it all worked out, amazing. The job which you guys did, like really amazing.
Thanks,
I'm really proud of them. My children, yeah.
Oh. Don't cry,
I want
don't
you
cry,
to hear
Mess. Don't
this.
cry.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't see the rest of the three here in the meeting right now. I'm not really sure because they were all busy today. Maybe they didn't come up. But Vic, on the research, I'd say Vic has done a beautiful job on research. She's gone in depth of every single particular thing available for smart speakers or on IoT or on different, including Estonia garment. She literally went and read everything on the garment. She did a really beautiful job on that.
Really
That's how a
good.
research has to be done.
Yeah.
Wow.
So, yeah.
Tell
She's
me
done a
about your
beautiful
experience,
job.
Vicky. Vic, tell me about your experience about the
I'm
user
muting
research.
myself.
The user research was great. So I'm thankful to have a lot of family who owns smart speakers. So I interviewed them. So I reached out to all of them and a friend to ask about what smart speakers they have. I crafted an interview list of maybe it was 30 questions or so, and then also a survey. And from there, everybody really had the same concerns with security, the voice assistant, and sound quality as well, which was harder to iterate, but at least we could think about that. Yeah, that was really great to at least have real people who actually have experience using these. And what was interesting is that I found most people have Alexa or the Echo and also Google Home, but they just use the Echo as a timer, and Google Home is the one that they connect to the IoT and they connect with their home, and they use it because it's got a better speaker, so they use it for music and entertainment. So that was interesting that the Echo is just a timer. It's mostly in people's kitchens. That was an interesting part of the research that I found.
I could buy that.
Sorry, let me see. Go.
No, sorry. I could buy that Echo because I have home Google Home here, but just for timing or listen to music when I'm cooking. Nothing else. Nothing else. Go ahead, please. Sorry.
Victoria, about the research, I quickly saw the questions there, and I realized there were many more like personal questions. And as I always try to keep the personal question as the minimum, so people don't feel very like the invasion of privacy.
Mhm.
One of the questions you have is where do you live? What is important for you to know for the interviewees? Where do they live?
Oh, sure. Well, I was interested in that just on how, especially as a cultural anthropologist, how people of different cultures interact with objects and spaces and like move through the world, and how that impacts how we maybe ask questions or what we're wanting to know about. So that's what I was interested in. Even though I knew all these people, I just wanted to ask that and think, well, this is what I would probably ask someone to make them feel more comfortable. And just, I'm a person to person talking to them, not interviewing, but more of a discussion. I kind of like to bring that aspect into the research, really getting to know people and kind of who they are at the core. That's why I asked that question, where they're from. If it was international, we did kind of think about that briefly and how we could, especially in the naming, it took us a while to think of a name because we wanted a name that was easily pronounceable for many cultures, cross-culturally. So Iris was the winner there. That's why I asked.
Where are you from? It was a better question, maybe.
Yeah, where are you from? That's what
It's like, I don't know, I don't want to tell you where I live.
Too personal. Oh, sure.
Good.
Yeah, another experience you want to share, in this design challenge comparison with the other.
With the last one.
Yeah, this one definitely more research happened, which was great. I was really happy to dive more into that aspect. I really spent a lot of hours looking into it, and IoT is really fascinating. I think I watched too many YouTube videos and too many videos and too many just Medium web articles, and just a lot of information there and about how it works, and even down to the functionality and coding of that. That was really fun. I really enjoyed that part of this design challenge as well, digging into the research.
That's great. That's great to know.
Questions? More questions?
Thank you. Anyone has a question? Bean, you have a question? Hallie? Ben? I see you. You have a question there. No?
Hallie have a question. Come on, Hallie. You can do it. Ben.
So you were the researcher. The other members of your team did a lot of like design research as well, like a collaborative effort. I'm saying these words as I think of like a more formulated question.
Sure.
So where did you, like, when you were researching the Internet of Things, like just ecosystem, were you thinking that this product would be like workable with other devices in the house? Like some people can have like a Apple TV and ask their Google Home to play something on there. So this would like fit in the family.
Yeah.
What was like the key difference like that would separate it from the other ones?
Our key focus on this was the security aspect. We found that in the research, a lot of people don't want to connect their speakers to anything other than lights, because most of the time, because of the security and privacy aspect of the issue of like, what's happening? Is it listening to me? You know, where is that data going when I'm telling it to do things? How is it getting connected? Is it more vulnerable to being hacked if I connect it to certain objects? So that's where ours would be definitely different and elevated. Our security and privacy is the #1 concern, and having that transparency and making sure people actually feel safe in connecting their device to, you know, like your TV or something other than lights. Maybe even, I know smart refrigerators are a thing now, so even implementing it there in their home so they can really have it integrated as an IoT kind of do it all system.
Awesome. Yeah, I think you did a good job of like, it's hard to make that aspect, like security and agreements, like interesting at all.
Yeah.
I thought it was well done.
Oh, thank you.
Okay,
You
can I ask
nailed it.
questions?
Yeah, Hallie, go ahead.
Yeah. Okay. So my first question was, so apart from regular IoT producers, did you look into any other type of voice interfaces or voice? Like for example, I don't know if you guys have checked out Replica.
No.
So have you guys, so Replica, yeah, so I was just wondering whether you guys actually did check out those kind of tools. That is #1. And #2 was more on, okay, so you guys spoke about security, about people feeling comfortable connecting devices and stuff. Did you guys think about the other aspect of security, whether people are worried about device continuously listening to their conversation so that it can provide better recommendations? So I was wondering, like, what did you guys think about, or how did you provide confidence to users that, hey, we're not listening and recording, everything. We talk only when needed. So I was wondering whether you guys consider it from that angle, because that is actually a major issue with a lot of this voice control or IoT devices, I would say. And yeah, so the third aspect was so the intent. So apart from regular voice design, UX principles, and those things, I was just wondering, like, what is the intent apart from, is it like a generic voice control application? If that is the case, okay, so my question would be like on this one. So whenever people think about voice control IoT device, it's mostly like an invisible interface, right? So there is no interface. So you just interact with the device using voice commands or voice controls. So what is the need for you guys to have a digital screen? um, can you probably elaborate on that?
Oh, sorry, the last part of your last question cut out a little bit.
Yeah, so my question was, so you guys designed a voice IoT device. So what is the need? So so whenever somebody designs a voice IoT device, I'm like very happy, because I'm always in support of zero UI, basically no UI interface. So the best UX is where you don't have any kind of UI for users to interact with. So what is the reason to have a screen-based interface when you have a physical IoT device? So probably if you can elaborate that, that would be nice.
Sure. So, that's a good question. I don't know if we really thought about that. As I know our challenge was to create a smart speaker and IoT. We wanted to create the voice app, or the actual physical app. If people didn't want to connect it to their other IoT in their house, like if they wanted to connect to lights, especially during the research phase, we found most people didn't connect it to a lot of other objects in their home. So we thought, in order to create something that would actually be used by a wider audience, to have that as an option, but not make it just the main focus of the smart speaker, was to just be IoT.
Also, Halek, what I think about the voice UI application over here is, voice UI device over here is, while setting up your voice UI, your smart speaker, or when you're actually connecting to it. So the terms and conditions, the privacy part, everything, ideally though it's a voice control application, so ideally you cannot expect a smart speaker to literally read out the entire terms and conditions when you're actually trying to connect it to some other device or something else. I'm not sure if you guys are able to hear me right now.
Yes, yes.
Right? So it's not ideal for a smart speaker to literally read out. People wouldn't really like it if you're, if it's actually taking so much time to set up like a simple device like a smart speaker, like literally reading the entire set of paragraphs of terms and conditions and privacy policies and all that. So it's always good to have a UI, like an interface wherein there are terms and conditions, and people would silently and calmly just go through it and then connect to it, instead of literally publicly making it read out completely over there, like the smart speaker. So it's always good to have an interface.
And actually, all the speakers, or all the IoT, they have Google Home and Alexa, they have an interface precisely because the configuration and
right. And also
They
one
should
more
have.
thing is the interface. What the team has showed right now, it's more of a IoT interface, and not a smart speaker interface. It's an IoT interface which helps connect the smart speaker as well as the entire like different smart devices as well to the smart speaker. It's not just for the smart speaker. So it's an IoT interface, not just a smart speaker.
Yeah. Thank you, Miss.
Thank you, Miss. I think we have to write up for the design challenge presentations. And thank you, Victoria, for your presentation. Thank you for your effort, for all of you, your hard work you have done. And yeah, I'm really happy with all of you, your project, your 2 weeks looking, your working hard with the team, meeting and sharing in Discord as well. I was speaking. Yeah, no, yeah, like And also right now, I wanted to ask for two mentors. We have Mes. You already said something about your group. So Danielle, you can talk about your group. What was your experience as mentor?
Yeah, so it was a really good experience for me. This was my first time mentoring with IterateUX. So I think there was some challenges with me learning how IterateUX does things and how much to give direction to the team, how much not to, since this is a educational kind of event. As well as, you know, we had 3 folks on our team, so we were missing a group member the full 2 weeks. So I think that was definitely a challenge for everybody. I think what would have helped me is knowing a little bit more about everyone's background in UX beforehand, but that was something that I could have done better myself at the beginning is being more proactive at asking what the hopes were for the project and what everyone wanted to learn. But overall, I'm happy with the work that the group did, and they really got into the different research methods. And instead of just designing a simple game digitally, they did the user research to understand problems, to provide an actual solution to something in the real world. So I'm really proud of the work that the team did.
Perfect.
Thank you,
Thank
Danielle.
you, Danielle. Thank you so much.
Yeah, I would like to say for us is it worked very well. To be honest, I wasn't expecting all the groups to finish all the projects, and
me neither.
I'm very happy that everyone worked very, very, very hard. I like all the design thinking process you applied, guys. Was amazing. And I'm very hopeful that people here are working just for the sake of it. There is no grades, there is no certification, there is no money, anything involved.
No.
And see people very with all they want to learn and everything. It's really nice to see that. And yes, Sebastian is asking if there is what is the next one. It was a lot of work to organize this for us.
My gosh.
Sorry if we have
my gosh, no. This year I need break. I need a break.
We need some holidays too, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, actually, it was a lot of work. Anyway, for us, it's very important to know what was your experience, to know about your ideas. If you have any input, if you have some ideas on how to improve this, please let us know. We are going to receive a feedback form in the next, maybe on the weekend or on Monday. So please fill out that form. It's very important for us. And because we hope this design challenge is going to keep growing and maybe in the future do something even more interesting, that maybe with recruiters, maybe, I don't know, let's see. But we need to make it right, and we need your feedback for that.
You want to say something, Sebastian, about that?
I've been sharing the process with my mentor that the Springboard gave me, and they are so excited that I got to do these projects. They are great portfolio builders, and getting team experience is so critical for growth. Yeah, that's. I went through a bootcamp too, and you don't get too much exposure to a teamwork, and I think this is one of the highlights of a design challenge. So yeah, I'm glad you.
Yeah, I think like for one, getting to work with a group is really critical, and then. For at least for us, for the Home Depot stuff, is like working under that corporate design restraints and like not just building from the ground up of having those constraints. I think I'm being told that hiring managers really like those projects more because it shows you can work under an umbrella of restrictions. You're not just like free roaming, build whatever you want and think is pretty. I think so. I think going forward, that's going to be that could be really helpful for people's portfolios. When they go forward. So working with a group and then working under corporate restraints to show hiring managers that you can do that, I think is going to be good.
Yeah, that's one of the things we consider when selecting the subject, is something that is going to be like a nice piece for the portfolio. So
this is really great.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is it. That is it. The objective of this, like always I said, is the portfolio improvement, presentation skills, UX skills, and collaborative group. The collaborate working together in a group is most important than working alone, because a designer is good, but 2 designers or 3 designers are brilliant, or designer with different backgrounds, engineers with designers, or engineers with developers, or different backgrounds. It's good. It's really good. It's really good for it. And normally the company wants that. So the experience is up to you, and yeah, here we are for helping you in that, as well as in my concern, I'm learning from you as well. So I really appreciate your time and your effort, and to put, I don't know how many hours you were working here, like to bring all your effort. It's good. It's really comfortable, like for not comfortable, I have to say, like satisfaction. Yeah, it's really good. It's really good. Yeah, feels good. Yeah.
Yeah, and the
Sorry
groups
for
were not made randomly. We looked at your profiles, we look at your backgrounds, and we try to mix the groups that you have that diversity there too. So I hope you appreciate that, and it wasn't a big problem. You didn't fight that much.
In the same time,
it worked out great.
time zone. The time zone
Oh, yeah.
also
That's so many things.
It's another thing. Yeah.
Yeah, I appreciate that. The last time we were like mix it up. Now we got the time zone even better.
Yeah,
So
you are so
thanks.
far, Jose. It's so difficult.
Yes, I know. I'm sorry.
to
I'm
work
in
with you.
trouble. I always trouble.
Please move to Canada.
Yeah. So guys, we finished. Thank you everybody for Design Challenge.
Congratulations.
We are so happy and so proud of you as well. Thank you guys. See you next week. Keep an eye open for the whiteboard. We have just 15 seats for that, right? So everybody is not going to do that. We are going to select and send an email for them. So
yeah. Keep an eye on Meetup.
Keep an eye on Meetup. And Meetup in Discord as